I got 100 media requests, confronting evil, sweeping the country because evil killed Charlie Kirk. Evil shot missiles at Poland. Evil is causing death and destruction every day in the Middle East. And I have to answer questions about it. One of the interviewers said, the release of your book this week is haunting because of what happened to Mr. Kirk, which when I thought about it, I said, wow, that's absolutely true. So the talking points memo is the rise of evil in the USA and around the world. It's hard to put into words how dangerous this time is. And it happened in modern times only once before, in the 1930s. The result was 100 million people being killed in World War II. The United States defeated evil, and we had help, but we did it, all right, primarily. And if you read Killing Patton and Killing the Rising Sun, you know all that. But now the United States is not engaged in battling evil any longer. Putin's got to be stopped. Got to be stopped. You cannot be shooting missiles into Poland, a NATO member. You got to be stopped. And the reason that President Trump is being very deliberate is because Putin has nukes and he'll use them. And it's not like Iran where when you bomb them, they can't do anything about it. But Putin, cover of my book, okay, there he is. So's the Ayatollah. 9/11 never would have happened, except for the Ayatollah. He's right on the book. Anyway, evil is a threat to every single person in the world. Yet many of us in America look away. They're not going to read Confronting Evil. They're not going to learn about history, how to defeat it. They don't care. They want to be on the internet. They want to be on social media, watch the football games all weekend. They don't want to be involved with reality. Got to stop. Now, I think Mr. Kirk's murder will get the attention of a lot of apathetic Americans. Has to. Has to. Particularly younger people. And that may be his legacy. That things change. We're going to go through that. Here's my summation last night on News Nation. Go. We are entering a new age of evil. The last age that we had was in the 1930s with the rise of the dictatorships all over the world that led to 100 million people dead in World War II, the Holocaust, on and on. Now, I wrote this book, Confronting Evil, to signal people that it was coming. And it was a harrowing day for me today. I was born today in 1949. And I got up, and the first thing I heard was that Putin shot missiles into Poland. Ultra dangerous, all right? Putin is as evil as they come. He's on the cover of Confronting Evil, my book. He is a psychopath who is looking to slaughter human beings. That's what he wants to do. You don't shoot missiles at a NATO member unless you are trying to upend the entire world in an evil way. And then a few hours later, we have the Charlie Kirk assassination on the eve of 9/11, where we lost 3,000 people to evil. So I started the book's research and writing about a year ago, and I knew, as you say a lot in your monologue, that things were deteriorating not only in the United States. This is not an American problem. This is a worldwide problem. And my opinion that I inject into the book, backed by facts, is that too many people in the world and in this country are looking away. We are looking away. And we are allowing evil to gather power. Now, the progressive movement does not want to punish evil. They're soft on crime. They don't believe that most criminals should be incarcerated. And the progressive movement, I will submit to you, is the reason that that poor Ukrainian woman was slaughtered on the bus in Charlotte. The judge knew the man who allegedly did that. It's on videotape. It was dangerous. The man beat up his own sister. Judge let him out on the street anyway. Judge is a progressive judge. Okay? How many times do we have to see that? How many times do we have to see that? And that woman, Teresa, whatever her name is still on the bench. Still on the bench. What is wrong with you people in North Carolina? You can remove her. Why is she not removed? And the people of North Carolina themselves should be demanding that. This is how you stop it. Now, I don't think the judge is evil. I don't know the judge, but she enables it. She allows it to happen. Okay. So on 9/11, 24 years ago, everybody got the cliche is a wake-up call. Everybody got it. Okay? And well, look at this. And I'll submit to you, most Americans didn't know what the jihad was. Osama bin Laden, man, no. They don't know anything about it. And all of a sudden, whoa, we're attacked. Thousands of people dead. The Kirk thing isn't at that level, but it's close because of social media and how successful he was. And the harrowing personal story of two little kids and on and on and on and on. Now, we woke up after 9/11 for a little bit. And then we made mistakes in Afghanistan and Iraq, but we wiped them out, most of the jihadists. There's still a few around. And Iran's still functioning. Iran is the head of the snake, which is why Ayatollah Khomeini is on the cover of the book. But back here, Pritzker, Mandani, Newsom, Wu in Boston, what's going on here? You're voting for people who allow mentally ill, violent citizens to roam around at will. What are you doing? And that's to anybody in those states who's voted for those people. There's no excuse for it. But it's happening. So, to sum up, Americans have to mobilize now. Got to pay attention. I know not most, but many millions won't. They refuse. They're too selfish, too addicted to the internet, they don't care. And one message to the media. So The View is on today. Oh, Charlie Kirk, oh, Charlie Kirk, oh, Charlie Kirk. Did they invite Charlie Kirk on to talk about anything? I'm checking it out, but I don't think so. They disparage him, but now it's, oh, that's Disney. All right, I'm going to show you in a minute what happened at MSNBC. Anybody surprised what happened over there? No. So the media is enabling evil on a lot of fronts. And again, if we don't walk away from that, we're partially responsible. That's the memo. If you are stressed about back taxes and maybe missed the April deadline or your books are a mess, act now. Because the IRS is cracking down and penalties are up to 25% just for not filing. Tax Network USA has helped thousands of Americans lift that burden. And they can help you, whether you are an employee, small business owner, or haven't filed in years. They have seen it all and know exactly how to clean it up. Tax Network USA's expert negotiators have direct access to powerful IRS programs, and they know how to win. You'll get a free consultation, and if you qualify, they will help you reduce or eliminate what you owe. Plus, they'll protect you from wage garnishments and bank levies. So please don't wait. 800-958-1000 or visit tnusa.com/bill. That's tnusa.com/bill. Joining us now from Columbia, South Carolina, capital of the state, is Patrick Brown. He is a fellow at the Ethics and Public Policy Center. That's a conservative group, think tank based in D.C. Why do you think younger Americans in particular are souring on capitalism, which has been proven over and over and over again to be the way to lift yourself from poverty, from working class status into affluence? What has changed?
Well, capitalism definitely has a PR problem. There's no doubt about it. When you look at the polling, the young people today, they do have that hesitancy. They hear capitalism and they think not the Bill O'Reilly of the 1970s scrapping his way to become, who he became, but of a big healthcare CEO denying coverage to somebody who they saw on social media, or trying to get on the ladder themselves and feeling like it's just impossible to start a family or buy a house. I think those are some of the concerns that people have. And so when you ask them, do you like capitalism, they're comparing it in their head to some sort of ideal other system. They're not thinking of the Soviet Union or even the high tax rates that someone like presumptive mayor of New York, perhaps Mamdani, would propose. They're thinking about, well, I would love to have capitalism that works a little bit better for me in my circumstance in life.
But isn't that stupidity? So it takes a while to amass assets. It takes years to do it. When I first started out, I rented an apartment. I didn't have enough money to buy a house. Couldn't put a down payment on a house. I had to buy a used car. Okay, but I accepted it. That's how you start. And then I put off a family because I knew I couldn't afford a family, and then try to, stair-step a career. So isn't it stupidity or naivete or something now? Are these people that dumb? They don't understand that it takes time to build affluence?
I think naivete might be a good word for it. I think you look at the rising age of first time people get married is now in their 30s. First time having a kid, it's risen tremendously since the early 70s, late 70s. People are delaying these milestones in life much later than they used to. Part of that's because that sense that it's just harder to get on the treadmill maybe than it used to be. Part of it is because we're a richer country now, right? And people are on their phones or watching Netflix and they see, wow, that's a beautiful house. That's my ideal of what a house needs to look like for me to be able to buy it. Well, that's not affordable for somebody in their 20s, but the hedonic treadmill keeps pushing us upwards where
No,
we're
wait. Patrick, wait a minute. Remember that show Lifestyles that are Rich and Famous with dopey Robin Leach? Remember that? Remember that show?
Yeah.
Okay, it's the
I've
same
heard
thing.
of it.
I saw that show. Oh, look at hello, I'm out here. Yeah, I'm not an idiot. I'm 27. I know I can't afford it, but maybe when I'm 40, I can. The unrealistic expectations, not only younger Americans, but a lot across the board, that they think that everything's going to work out. Yeah, bad health companies, bad insurance companies, all day long. But you fight it. That's why I opened up the concierge membership to BillO'Reilly.com. So when you get hosed, I'll help you fight it. But you can win most of those fights. But if you go to Canada, which has socialized medicine, socialize this, socialize that, you want a knee transplant, you can't get one. And we'll give you one 6 years from now. You go over to Britain, try to get your teeth fixed in Great Britain, good luck to you.
They might offer you assisted suicide instead. But there's definitely a sense where people are not thinking about the real life alternatives, right?
Okay.
Again, Canada.
But why aren't they?
They have to pay for it, for sure. It's a lot higher tax rates. The government gets way more involved in people's lives than I think even the most diehard supporters of Bernie Sanders would ever want. And so there is some resetting of expectations that I would agree with you that would be helpful. But also, look, we spend $7 on seniors for every one that we do on kids and families from the federal level. It's fair to say, hey, look, let's think about the ways that we've stacked the deck in favor of long-term homeowners instead of people getting just started in life. Let's build more housing, make the cost of living more affordable. I think those are some of the political things we can do to kind of tamp down some of this resentment.
All right, but that's local and state. Okay, capitalism is a global economic system. I don't object to anybody in any state or any county putting up housing that's affordable. I think it's a good thing. Okay, but capitalism itself requires an understanding. And I think the public school system, this is the key to it, doesn't teach that. They don't know these kids. they come out with all of this unrealistic expectation that I'm going to have this, I'm going to have that. Why does somebody have it? I don't have it. That kind of a thing. You got to work hard for it. That's why America is a great country. It's built on the backs of the working class that wanted to move up and was willing to make the sacrifice. These kids just want it handed to them. They're spoiled. And this is what they're taught in school. You deserve this. You don't have it because society's evil. The corrupt billionaires, that kind of garbage. They're being lied to, but these Americans who want socialism and reject capitalism, they want to believe this stuff. It's not based on any reality.
There's definitely an element to that. And there was a law passed in Ohio, I think last year or the year before, that actually required high school students to learn the fundamentals of just basic economics, supply, demand, why these things work the way they do. I think that's a great idea. It would also help if businesses kind of step back from trying to be social justice warriors like we saw during the COVID era, where everybody had the flags and the rainbows and the, Black Lives Matter type stuff. I think that also kind of poisons the well. What are companies actually for? Are they for delivering services and making life more affordable, or are they trying to play cultural influencer? That's probably also some part of the aspect as well.
Yeah, and there are good and bad corporations. All right, I've worked for both. Corporations are rotten, awful, terrible, greedy, and I've also operated in a benign atmosphere. Hey, Patrick, we really appreciate your time. Thanks for helping us out. And hopefully we'll bring you back. Okay. There's an update on the murder of Irina Zarutska in Charlotte. So this is evil. This woman comes here, 23 years old, wants a better life, understands that you can get a better life in USA than you have in Ukraine. And she's murdered by a 34-year-old schizophrenic who should have never been out on the street, because progressive policies do not want to punish people who are dangerous. And that is the truth. That is the absolute truth. So the judge who really allowed this killer to take Irina's life is named Teresa Stokes. Okay? Now, Stokes knew because Brown had been arrested 14 times. All right, there's Stokes. All right? Now, she knew he was dangerous. She knew he was a nut. He was actually saying that something was controlling his body to the police. She had all this testimony. She let the man out. Blood on her hands. Now, the chief district court judge is Roy Wiggins in North Carolina, and we expect him to remove Judge Stokes from the bench. He has the power to do that. And I'm telling you, Judge Wiggins, if you do not do that, I'm coming after you. I'm coming after you. Remove this woman. This evil has to stop. And not only in Charlotte, but all over the United States. Judges have to be removed. On notice, Judge Wiggins, I don't want to be disrespectful, but on notice. Media coverage. So Irina was killed on Friday, August 22nd. The following week, the entire week, ABC News, World News Tonight, that's Muir giving weather for almost a half an hour every night. Okay, no coverage, none. NBC Nightly News, no coverage, entire week. CBS Evening News, no coverage, none. Didn't want to touch it because a black man killed a white woman. That's why the network news ignored the story. So White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt had something to say about that. Go.
This is madness. This monster should have been locked up, and Irina should still be alive. But Democrat politicians, liberal judges, and weak prosecutors would rather virtue signal than lock up criminals and protect their communities. And perhaps most shamefully of all, the majority of the media, many outlets in this room, decided that her murder was not worth reporting on originally because it does not fit a preferred narrative.
Absolutely true. And that's how corrupt the U.S. media is. And that goes along with coverage of Putin, coverage of capitalism, the deterioration in the information that you're getting is stunning, which is why I'm glad you're here listening to me this evening. All right, this Epstein story. Look, this is almost impossible to cover this story in a fair way. The facts are these. Epstein is a monster. He committed suicide. The world is a better place. His associate, Maxwell, 20 years in prison, should serve every single day of it. Epstein knew a lot of powerful people, including Presidents Clinton and Trump. He knew them. He socialized with them. The Democratic Party desperately wants to link Trump to Epstein in a criminal way. All of that's true. Then you descend into, we don't know what's true anymore. Wall Street Journal prints a birthday card, 50th birthday card that Donald Trump allegedly sent to Jeffrey Epstein, okay? And the card is some kind of outline of a woman with Trump's signature on it and a note to Epstein. Trump denies that that is his hand, says he did not do it. Roll the tape.
The president did not write that letter. He did not sign those documents. He maintains that position, and that position will be argued in court by his lawyers. The president is very confident he is going to win this case.
No, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. So how can I cover it? I can just tell you where the situation is. And with Putin, with the economy, with all of these things happening, Epstein's like 80th on my list. However, I'm not going to ignore it. So we will report the facts. Cold and flu season coming on up. We all know it. And it really is nothing to take lightly. So when people start getting sick all across the country, medications disappear. Everybody wants it at the same time. So it's very, very smart to have a pharmacy you can count on, like All Family Pharmacy. Right now, they're helping Americans get ahead of the curve with 10% off antibiotics, antivirals, other essentials. You know how important it is to have the right meds when you get sick, particularly when your kids get sick. You don't want to be going into the doctor's office, spending all the time. You want to have them at your home. So if you have a few months' supply, you don't have to worry. And that's what we're doing here. If you believe in medical freedom, okay, and taking care of your family, as I do, this is the pharmacy for you. Please go to allfamilypharmacy.com/Bill. Use code BILL10 to save 10%. America is more dangerous than ever. With violent crime on the rise, while you could rely on a firearm, using deadly force today can land you in court, costing you years and your life savings. Trying to prove you acted in self-defense. FBI data shows 99.9% of all altercations do not require lethal force. That's why smart Americans are turning to Byrna. Proudly made in Fort Wayne, Indiana, Byrna's less lethal self-defense launchers are trusted by law enforcement, private security, more than 600,000 citizens. Byrna launchers fire kinetic rounds and powerful tear gas or pepper projectiles, able to stop a threat up to 60 feet away. No background checks, no waiting periods, delivered right to your door. Take control, be ready. Visit Byrna.com today. That's BYRNA.com, or head to your local Sportsman's Warehouse. All right, here is the final thought of the day. So I had a great mom, Winifred Angela O'Reilly, okay? Kindest woman. Oh my God, she was so good at being a mom. Luckiest thing in my life that I had her raising me. My mother never experienced evil in her entire life. She lived in a bubble, a suburban bubble in Levittown. It was a neighborhood, it was a church, it was socializing. She never saw it, not one time. My father built a kind of a protective wrap around the house. But I've seen evil 50 years of reporting like crazy. But my mother knew it existed, but she never saw it. A lot of people like that. And I open Confronting Evil with October 7th, the Hamas raid in Israel. I put you right in the middle of that raid in case you have never experienced direct evil. And that's why the worthiness of the book, you got to know what the world is all about, and we have to fight it. Thank you for watching and listening to the No Spin News. We'll see you Monday. Thank you for watching. To view full episodes of the No Spin News anytime, sign up to become a BillO'Reilly.com premium or concierge member today.